I'd like to call a press conference this afternoon just to speak about some developing trends in what we call acquisitive crime. Acquisitive crime are crimes where items are stolen or acquired fraudulently, and this includes thefts, burglary, and robberies, and fraud. Additionally, we have seen an increase in the circulation of counterfeit currency as well, which would also fall into this category. But primarily today I want to try and focus our attention on a spate of burglaries and robberies that we've seen developing in recent weeks that is the cause for today's press conference. Currently we're seeing the rate of burglaries increase 25% over last year. There have been 233 burglaries year to date, as compared with 187 for the whole of the first quarter of last year. So that's roughly about a 25% increase in the rate of burglaries. And the bulk of those are residential burglaries that are committed in people's homes, as opposed to commercial premises. I just want to remind everyone that there are steps that people can take to prevent themselves being victims for these types of crimes, and there are simple steps that homeowners can take to prevent opportunistic criminals from enabling them to get inside their home. Our website offers plenty of advice to people should they want to seek advice on that, and there's also our crime prevention unit, which offers free advice to people that wish to take steps to fortify their homes or businesses against criminals, and I can disseminate that to everyone in a document later. I also wanted to speak about an increasing trend of robberies where we've seen complainants allege that they were robbed at gunpoint. Since Friday gone, we've seen at least 3 incidents reported to police where firearms were allegedly used by suspects during the course of robberies, 2 of which were reported to the police service last night within an hour of each other. I just want to reassure every member of the public that the Bermuda Police Service is using all its resources to combat this trend, and we are including the addition of additional armed officers on patrol and enhanced regular patrols to combat this. Members of the public should also take steps to maximize their own safety to prevent themselves from becoming victims of robbery. And again, there are considerable items of advice on our website which will help people in maximizing their own safety. But it's important for people to be aware of their own personal circumstances when they're out and about, especially at night in dimly lit areas and or when they're alone. The Serious Crime Unit has taken on responsibility for investigating the latest trend of armed robberies that we've seen in particular since Friday, and that is headed by a senior investigating officer. A number of investigative leads are being pursued, and forensic evidence has been gathered and is being processed and analyzed as we speak. We can't do this alone. The public is a big factor in assisting us in bringing offenders to justice, and we've seen that in a lot of recent criminal trials where people have come forward to assist the police in bringing offenders to justice. As it relates to burglaries, there's not any one description that I can give you that will assist in the public coming forward. However, what I can say is that the public can be vigilant within their own neighborhoods where they note suspicious activity or individuals lurking around or acting suspiciously, to call this into police and let us take prompt action to ascertain what the activity is about. With that said, a lot of things have been stolen in the last few months. These include cash, jewelry, electronics, and a number of items. Clearly, the tangible items other than the cash are being either sold on or passed on to other people, and we would ask that people that are suspicious of receiving items like this pass this information on to the police so that we can take investigative action. The police service is busy. To date, in 2012, we've arrested 29 people on suspicion of burglary, and 14 of those people have actually been charged before the courts with burglary offences. The area criminal investigation units in each of the stations across the island are also looking for other suspects that are currently wanted for burglary offences. As it relates to the robbery, and in particular speaking to last night's incidents that I referred to, we are particularly interested in speaking with any member of the public that may have seen, and I appreciate this is becoming somewhat of a stereotypical description, but it is, the information is what it is, and this is what we're looking for, is that two suspects in dark or black clothing and shoes on a black and red step-through motorcycle. Both were wearing dark crash helmets. They were alleged to be in possession of a chrome or silver firearm. Both subjects are black males in their late teens or early 20s and are between 5'8" and 5'10" tall. In the robbery at the Reeves Hotel, one of the suspects had a red bandana covering his face. Whilst we haven't concluded that these two events are connected, we are obviously examining all the evidence between them to examine links that may suggest that they are one and the same suspects. We have not ruled that out as yet. We are continuing to see evidence that a small percentage of people are continuing to commit a disproportionate amount of the crime. It will require the combined efforts of the police and the public to bring these offenders to justice. The critical factor in all these cases is to get people to provide information. If anyone has information that they can provide to the police, obviously they can contact the Serious Crime Unit or Police Headquarters on the main number 295-0011, or alternatively, if they are suspicious of persons' behavior, they can simply phone that information in as a tip-off and allow the police to act to gather evidence against the individuals. I'll take some questions at this time, if there are any.
I missed the first few minutes, so I'm not sure if you may have said this already, but in the case of the incident at the Reeves, can you confirm that the suspects allegedly went to a guest room and maybe used false pretenses to get the door open, and
I don't want
any
to...
details?
I can't provide any information on how the crime was committed.
Okay, well...
At this point, I just don't want to jeopardize the investigation.
Okay.
But what I can confirm is that two subjects did enter a guest property at the Reeves Hotel, and they were confronted with what the occupants thought was a firearm.
And no one was injured though, right?
No one was injured.
But something was stolen?
Yes, we have some items that were stolen.
Pedro, just can I go back to the burglaries to start off with? Are there any specific areas of the island that have been targeted predominantly?
Unfortunately, Simon, it's everywhere. All areas of the island are being affected. We're seeing, and it's very difficult to trend the activities of the criminals. We're seeing a lot of crime, obviously, in the central areas, Paget, Pembroke, and those areas. But it goes wider than that. So it's and this is nothing new. We're seeing criminals that for 20, 30 years have been committing this type of behavior, so it's very difficult to focus on any one group of people or particular suspects. As we know, people come in and out of jail and they continue their bad habits. So it's something that we're continuing to tackle, and we're seeing the same people come back time and time again.
How much do you put that down to the economic times at the moment, but also the time of year, I guess? Are those two factors?
Like I said, we've seen the same people come in and out of our doors for the last 20 years for the same thing, and that obviously spans both boom and bust economic cycles. So it's really difficult to say that it's down to any one thing, be it the economy or otherwise. But we're dealing with younger people that we've never seen before, and quite a lot of people that we've seen many times over and over. So it's a combination of many factors, unfortunately.
Do you have information that some of these gang members, the gunmen, are targeting drug dealers?
Yeah, we've certainly seen cases where people are targeting people where they believe they might have an opportunity to score drugs or cash, where they believe people may be operating illicit activities from their premises. Yeah, we've seen that.
So would you say that those two close robberies in Dock Hill, I think it was last Thursday, may have been drug related or something like that? Are you familiar with that?
I believe you're referring to an incident that happened on Friday afternoon. That was not a robbery. It was actually an attempt, but the person didn't actually get away with anything.
What was an attempt of what?
An attempt robbery.
Okay, all right, thanks.
I'm just asking in relation to the robbery at the guest house. Can you give an idea how this affects the victims in this case? Obviously, visitors to the island.
Obviously, it's very traumatizing. People come to Bermuda for its for its perceived safety, and by and large, it very much is. It's unfortunate that some callous people within our community seek to perpetrate criminal activities on guests in our country.
Sometimes when this happens, though, tourism steps in to maybe reimburse. Is those sort of talks taking place? I know that's not your department.
That's not my, I can't
Right,
speak, but
okay.
I'm sure the Ministry of Tourism will be looking to speak with the individuals affected, as they normally do. Glenn, you have a question, sir?
Oh, you said 2 incidents. Where the all the incidents take place?
Well, the incidents last night was on, the first one was on Lolly's Well, which is in Smith's Parish off Harrington Sound Road, and the second one was at a tourist property on South Road in Southampton.
That one, it appears, or I'm hearing that the culprits may have followed this taxi into an isolated area. Can you release anything further, like did he have passengers or was?
Yes, the taxi driver had conveyed a fare from Hamilton to that area. Whether or not they were followed, that's obviously going to form part of the investigation,
But
and
like-
we're looking at that.
Were the passengers still in the car when it happened? I mean.
No, they had just disembarked
Okay.
and paid their fare.
Well,
Okay.